Okay, thank you guys. We are live now in the studio. We are going to be having this conversation going. And I know everyone has been waiting, and we want to start it now. And I want to just give a background on what we are doing here on this conversation. We are having stories that are going to be covering different aspects coming from different industries, getting different professionals. We are going to be speaking through this platform. So we are going to be seeing different people speaking through this platform. And I'm happy today to have one of our own, a Kenyan, who is going to introduce himself. And next week, as I said earlier before, we are going to be having different guests. We are going to be talking through this platform, and we are going to be having a conversation, both in the political space, also in the social life, and we are going to see how people can have hope in times of uncertainty. So I don't want to talk much and to have more time because the guest is ready to just go. We shall go through so many things. So I don't want to eat in his time. So I'll bring to screen our guest today, who will be talking to us, and we shall be having conversation. So my friend and my good brother Bas Miheso, I think I have known you for a few um, months at the time I met you. So today we are live on this platform. So we are going to be discussing so many things. But before even we go to discussion, I want to just take some minutes and introduce yourself, who you are, and what do people know about you, and what will be remaining in their minds.
Okay, thank you so much, Muyela. Much appreciated. First thing I have to say, congratulations for setting up this platform. It's a very good tool for engagement and for advocacy of our youth and especially people in our country. There are so many issues which we'd like to share with them so that we actually correct and I would say test and adjust and even improve ourselves. My name is Abasa Miheso. My background is that I was born in Kenya. I'm from Western Province. I'm a Luya by tribe. If any one of you want to, engage with me personally like that, I appreciate that, no problem. I'm an engineer based in England. I'm a principal engineer, and my background in England is that I am an ex-serviceman. I did 5 years in the Royal Marines. I had 3 years in the Royal Air Force as an officer cadet pilot, and currently I'm an electronics design engineer. So this is a very quick rundown of what I am. I have hobbies. I like reading. I like poetry. I like cycling, rugby. I think that's a very quick introduction by me. Of course, there's more to it, and
Yeah.
Muyela knows that. But for those of you who are watching, fire through your questions if in case you have any concerns or requests. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. I think to me, it's going to be just entertaining, and to say a few, just to hear from you, and just to accept this call to just come and just have this conversation. So let's start. I will start by asking a few questions that I had, that we can now go deeper. So, what inspired you to pursue the career in aerospace engineering?
Oh, well, by the way, Muyela, can I speak Swahili?
Ah, tafadhali unaweza jaribu. Kuna wazungu wanasikiza na pia I don't know. You go Swahili, you can go Swahili. Go Swahili.
I understand. I understand. No, well, because everyone can understand English, I will stick with the English.
Okay.
Um, Personally, I've come from a military background. I have some uncles and cousins in Kenya who are also engaged in military engagements. I wouldn't say we are strictly a military family, but that also has an input in what made me um, um, choose to do aerospace engineering. It is aircraft. I had a very keen engineering sense to understand mechanical advantage, to understand mechanics, to understand engineering drawings, to understand schematics. These are just basics of electronics and any form of design. So in general, I really just wanted to know these things. But I wondered, how do I get to know these things in the best fashion forward? And to do that, I thought I must go through an undergraduate degree and learn aeronautics. to get to understand this. I'll just say a very quick one. Also, it's just the fascination with space and knowing a bit of orbital mechanics. And understanding that there are things that can fly faster than the speed of sound. These things fascinated me, and of course I wanted to engage with that scientific discovery and find out how these things actually work.
Wow. Um, it is fascinating. It's not an area of, and I don't know much about it, but you
Yeah,
know more. You spoke about also the defense, UK defense.
yeah.
How is it? How was the transition into it?
Sorry, I missed you at the end there. Your connection got a bit slow there.
No problem. So I'm saying that you spoke about UK defense and you spoke a bit of defense industry. So how did you the transition to it? Someone just asking.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was living in Kenya before I came over to the UK, and I was studying engineering at Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology.
Yeah.
I was studying a course called JEGIS, that is Geomatic Engineering Information Systems. And towards the end of that course, I made an application to join the Royal Marines in the UK, and that application fell through in 2007. So when that happened, I managed to come over to the UK, and I joined the services as a rating. And then I built myself up from being a rating. A rating means you are just a soldier, ordinary soldier, general duties. And obviously doing that role, I realized that I probably have an extra potential or a capacity to actually further my education and learn more. I was exposed to aircraft, I was exposed to battleships, I was exposed to all sorts of weapons, guns, and all sorts. And because I was exposed to these things, I thought that from an engineering sense, I really wanted to understand these things from a deeper sense. And so my journey has been that simple. Kenya, university, straight away to the Royal Marines. From the Royal Marines, I took on an engagement with the Royal Air Force as an officer cadet. And throughout that continuous service, I managed to improve my skills in these specific areas. If anyone wants to ask deeper and want to find out more, I'll be willing to share.
Perfect. So anyone who is interested in that area, I think they will just come through. Then I'll link up to you in the course of the months that are coming. So I want to quickly blast through my questions so that we can now go to another session. Looking into maybe the challenges of Black Africans in that field. Do you have anything, and how did you overcome them?
Oh, actually, that's a very good question, Muyela.
Yeah.
Being a Black African, you must remember that you will always be Black, and that the society will not see you different.
Yeah.
It does not matter how qualified you are or how successful you are, you will always be Black. The best thing I had within me was that I was really rooted in African values, understanding what Africanism is, and really being of the knowledge and awareness that I am strong, accepting my authentic self, being African. So I never tried to be anything else. My best advice is don't try to be anything else. Being African is a valuable thing. Knowing your values, your traditions, staying rooted in your Africanism is a very strong thing. I got respect out of being very strong in my African views. Whenever you divert and find yourself trying to copy others or trying to be like others, you actually lose your roots and you lose your cultural sense, and others just look at you like a follower.
Okay.
So really, that is how I combated that. As far as racism is concerned, maybe that question touches on racism.
Yeah.
I might also say that the competition of jobs in the United Kingdom, and I suppose every other Western world, is always such that you have opportunities to progress. But these opportunities are capped by A, specific recruitment criteria, B, could be racial, ethnic background, issues, and sometimes it could just be academic credentials. So as far as I'm concerned, my challenges were more of, and being a Black person, I had to work harder to actually meet the mark. It is my hope that we are going to be equal one day, and that a Black man only has to work as hard as a white man to progress. But at the moment, I'm not going to lie to you. You have to work hard, and you really have to, work hard.
Wow, that's a bold statement, and it's just you're making it look like you cannot run away from the truth. That's the truth.
Correct.
So what can you give us an advice to young Africans who are looking to enter in the STEM field? So they're
Okay.
look- they're looking to enter the STEM field. So what can be your advice though?
Okay. Did you say STEM field? This is the
Yeah.
sciences.
Yes, yes, the STEM, yeah. Because
Okay. So
yeah.
my best advice for Kenyans who are trying to get into this kind of field is to, and it depends on what you want to do. If you're an innovator, if you really think that your brain cells are tuned towards innovation, then you don't need to come to England to be an innovator. The innovation is something that addresses directly available problems. You're trying to solve problems that are within your vicinity. Coming to the UK, you would not be able to innovate for problems in Kenya because it takes you away from the vicinity of those problems. All you can do is make money using UK tech. And this is about innovation. This is just my opinion. But if you really want to be a developer or you want to develop currently existing systems and you just want to learn more, then the UK is a very good place to come and learn more because it has vast resources in terms of educational material. There's online content, and recently there's AI, and these things are being used to advance technology and learning regimes. So my advice with STEM is focus on what you can do. Decide whether you're an innovator or you want to develop currently existing systems. And if you're an innovator, don't worry about not being in the UK. But if you want to develop currently existing sim systems, then I suppose you want to advance your knowledge or your academic credentials to meet the mark of the market or to probably be above it. And to do so, you probably need to go into a Western country and learn these things. Finally, Muyela, I would say that most students try to come to England to study an undergraduate course. I believe there is no value in coming to study an undergraduate course in England to pay all that money. By the way, it's about £20,000 per head. It's not that valuable. If you study in Strathmore, University of Nairobi, Jomo Kenyatta, even Makerere, these institutions would suffice and they would be enough. Our education is robust and I say comprehensive enough to meet the demands as far as an undergraduate course is concerned. But if you want to do a master's course or a PhD in a STEM-related science, and you probably want to hit the skies with your knowledge, then I suppose taking on a master's course or a postgraduate study kind of engagement would be advisable for you.
Yeah, because this recording and this video is going to be watched by thousands and thousands of people who are in Kenya. Give someone maybe qualifications. What are these qualifications? Maybe someone needs to work in the UK defense industry.
All right. So there's qualifications which are very easy to transition to work into the UK, and this is to do with that bilateral treaties between England and Kenya. And this is also to do with transferring the skills. If it's a UK degree, is it transferable in Kenya? If it's a Kenyan degree, is it transferable in the UK? So those two things, the government of England and Kenya having bilateral ties for sharing human capital, I mean labor, that's one thing. And the other thing would be whether you have enough within yourself to actually meet the job market. Personally, I would say that with regards to bilateral ties, medicine is very good to transition into England. So if you are a nurse, anything to do with the medical fraternity, biochemistry, biological sciences, the UK accepts Kenyan qualifications, especially with nursing and medicine. They seem to accept that, but they still have to train you to actually meet their job market demands. But other things that are a lot more of a tech perspective, say for instance, computer science, things that are connected to coding, AI, I can guarantee you that those are very transferable. There are people who are working in Kenya for UK companies, US companies, and it's because those are skills that just require you to understand what a computer is and what it can do. And because the world is now a global village, those STEM-related sciences do not require a match for you to transition into the UK. Finally, I would say that it would be a lot easier for anyone that wants to transition into the UK to have studied an undergraduate course in Kenya and come into the UK having an undergraduate course, if you can do a master's course, that's a better qualification to come into the UK and join the job market. If you come in without these two things, it becomes very expensive, and it makes your transition very difficult. It is doable, but it's very difficult.
Wow. You mentioned so many things, but you're not going to go there. Maybe how do you look at the future look like in terms of opportunity for African to work in aerospace and defense industries in the UK? How do you look at that?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's I don't want to look down on our systems in Kenya or in East Africa. But to be quite frank with you, I don't believe Kenya has a very robust space agency. We have not sent any satellites into space. We are using foreign satellites to communicate. So it's not a very developed field of science in Kenya. Saying that, mostly, say if it was for myself, if I was to come to Kenya, I would probably just find myself working in, say, propulsion mechanics, because there's already aircraft in Kenya and there's already aircraft engines, and I'll be able to work in such organizations to develop those engines, repair those engines, lead maintenance and any other associated duties. But as far as design is concerned, I think being stationed in Europe or in the US or Russia, Ukraine, those are quite good for such a field of study. I really think that if anyone wants to do aeronautics, they really need to go for it. It's very interesting. It's very diverse. It touches on all the elements of physics. I'm talking, you'll be doing elements of biology because human beings have to sit on this aircraft. You'll be doing elements of chemistry, elements of physics, material science, you know, the whole lot.
Thank you so much. I think the last question on that bit, I want just to make it general. Did you have any mentor to walk through this journey of your career? Did you have any mentor? Did you have anyone?
Yeah, got your answer right. Unfortunately, Muyela, I think this is just an original dream. Out of reading novels, I was reading a lot of Robert Ludlum novels. If anyone has read Robert Ludlum, I found myself reading a lot of the Born series, the Born Ultimatum, the Born Identity, Born Supremacy. These are books that I was reading at a young age, and out of just reading these books in Kenya, I suddenly developed a certain desire to actually understand what these fast aircraft are. You know, for instance, the SRT aircraft. This is the supersonic aircraft. So this actually just created that desire within me, and should I say, it inspired me to come and study this more. I believe that's it. I don't have a public figure in this regard. I do have a public figure in other regards, but not so much with aeronautics, Muyela.
That's interesting. So you talk about personal research and personal study as the most backbone, or the backbone of your career progress. So
correct.
How did you split your time for maybe looking into your personal stuff and also trying to career progress? How did you split your time?
I have to say to anyone listening to this, you have to be an early riser. You have to be an early riser. You have to. I wake up at 4 a.m. in the morning when I'm doing well. Not every day, but I try to do every day. I wake up in the morning. I did say I have a hobby, which is cycling. I go on a cycle, or I go to the gym for probably an hour, and then I come back fresh and I start on my work, and I do my work first. I do the things that I think I need to know. I think a lot of people think that scientific study is a lot about reading what others have written, but it's more about your own individual scientific inquiry. Somewhat, why do you want to know what does what? Why do you want to know what to do what? You know, these questions why. And then once you've gotten to the bottom of why, then you'll be able to understand, to get into how, which science is a question of how. The question why is more of what it inspires you, and then the question how becomes the scientific element about it. My normal day runs from 4 a.m. I make sure I finish at about 4 5 o'clock. I don't do 12 hours. Between that regime, I make sure I have enough breaks. But two things: 4 a.m. in the morning, and I am punctual to my duties. I don't let myself down.
Wow. Um, we want to switch gear a bit, and it will get entertaining into as we continue this conversation. Um, Looking at now the political space in Kenya, maybe as
Yeah.
things
Yes.
unfold, things
Let's
unfold.
go on. Yes.
So because the young people are most affected by the dynamics that are happening in politics now, and the future of our industries and the future of our tech companies. So, what do you see as the impact of political class and political interference?
There's quite a lot of influence onto this, my brother. I must state that I was in Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology, and we had a small institution on the side of it in Juja that was specifically set up by the Japanese. Okay, so funding came from overseas to set up this institution. And politically, we always receive funding, but you do not see anything on the ground. So this is a big thing. You realize that African Medical Research Foundation, AMREF, is also a body that is funded from different sources across the continent and worldwide. But you know that AMREF in Kenya is broke. Okay, things that we get from overseas to advance ourselves are squandered by the political class because they handle the money before it reaches the public coffers. And because this happens, individuals in Kenya are suffering economic hardship, a very low educational sort of should I say I don't know what word to use. I don't want to say Kenyans are not educated because they really are. I really think it's about employment and opportunities, and this thing comes from funding still, because the institutions have to be funded for you to get your employment, and then also the institutions have to be funded for you to study in order to be employed. So it's very cyclic. I'm disappointed with the current nature in Kenya. Everyone understands the political climate, and I would like it to change.
Yeah, I think that's interesting to me because it's an area of interest. As I said, it's an area of interest to so many people. So, as a guy who has studied so much in engineering, so what do you think as Kenyan young people can do to avoid this political interference? I don't know how maybe your approach would be. What would be your approach maybe to help young people who are maybe they're looking to vote in 2027, and the same people who are still in power, they are going to be also be affecting their way they vote?
Okay, so is this about affecting change in Kenya politically, or about okay? So gentlemen and ladies, or ladies and gentlemen, I would say that African governments, and I think all of them, I would like to blanket this on all African governments, and say that we are still developing, we are still growing, we are not very old in terms of our governance structures and systems, but we come from the oldest place in the universe. This is Africa. So I believe that our culture and our traditions should come first, before Western values and anything else that is imposed on us. This is me actually saying that the reason why we are where we are in Kenya is because of international interference, and also because of a lack of, or should I say, a slow down rate of education, and this is civic education for the youth, which is primary towards them understanding the political nature of the landscape of the country for them to effect change. So as far as 2027 is concerned, if we were to make any change in Kenya, I believe the very first change that we need to make is winning the minds of Kenyans, changing our own minds to understand really what our country is, what the political landscape is, how can we improve ourselves economically, what are the socio-economic factors that will influence development, and what are the cultural values that we need to have within ourselves as a community in order to unite around these values and therefore foster good governance or foster development as a collective. So 2027 is going to be a very difficult one, but I believe that as long as we manage to get this thing which I'm calling civic education first, this is the brainchild of all development, this civic education for us. The moment we get that, it means that even if we don't win in 2027, there will be enough knowledge among the people to form a revolution or an uprising enough for the next election to be a total clean out of corruption, a total clean out of misappropriation of funds, and a total clean out of the old culture of tokenism and foreign interference.
Wow. You made it so spot on in terms of now the governance structures and all those interference. So us guys who are not in Kenya, people say that you guys don't understand the pain and don't understand what you are going through. I think you can hear from my brother is saying that we know and people are aware of what's going on, and the change starts in us, our mindset into our approach. So
Correct.
maybe looking at just the last moments of this conversation, what will be your words for the young people? What will be your points?
My words are very simple for the young people. Unite. Unite. I'm saying unite. Come together as one. Kikuyu, Luo, whatever it is, unite. Because the political class have shown you that they're happy staying at the top regardless of what tribe they are. When they're selecting each other for the top position, they don't care what tribes they are. But when they're actually looking to disburse government funding and to distribute resources, they care what tribe you are. And because that's the case, I'm telling the youth of Kenya to unite, rally around common cultural values, rally around common economic development goals, rally around these things. A specific thing I would say that Kenyan youth really need to rally around is socio-economic development, not just economic, socio-economic development. If you combine these two and really improve this, this will improve the livelihood of the whole of the country in a very, very rapid rate. Finally, I'd like to say that Kenya is a rich country. If you see the amount of money that is stolen in Kenya by the day, Kenya is a rich country. Also, there's no country that has foreign interference that is poor. The question is, what are they looking for? They're looking for your money. They're looking for your resources. It means there's something we have that they want. So I'm asking the youth to awake and realize that unity, the unity of purpose, is the ultimate holy grail. It doesn't matter what you do. If you're not united, you will not win.
Wow. That's so powerful in terms of the way you have just executed it. I think one of the things we are trying to do is to bring information close to the young people and making these forums and this conversation. I think I need to invite you again. We are going to have a future conversation around that political class and all those young people.
I would like that. I would like that. Thank you.
We are going to have that conversation going on, but today was just to know you, who you are, to maybe just to future planning. And just to make this platform a place of everyone, there are those who are going to be just speaking. I think I will be making a panel to just speak about those matters and just to ensure that everyone is aware and information is shared in terms of, we are talking about the professional growth, also the awareness of the career, which are options available. And this thing starts with your mindset to see that we are also able to do our work, not just wait for Miheso to come in and speak about few things. You need to do your homework very well. That so people, when they come, you are also benefiting, not just a parasite. You are benefiting from them. Let's get this information. Let's prepare our mind and ready to receive from these guys who are speaking. I want to say a big thank you, Miheso, today. It was a short session. Looking forward to make another one going forward. So we are going to speak about these political issues around it in the next 2 weeks. So you and another guy who's going to be coming on this panel, we are going to be discussing that as a whole. Is that okay?
Appreciate that. I would really appreciate that, Muyela. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, and I want to just release you to go and go do your stuff. I know you're doing something,
Thank you
and
very much. My
have,
blessings to you.
have,
Speak soon.
have a good night. Have a good night.
You too, brother. Thank you.
That is it from today. I think we are closing this today live here on this studio. I want to just say that it's a story of hope for everyone. That those guys who are tuning in live, I think we have just seen what my brother Miheso has shared. He's an engineer, a principal engineer in Navy and here in the UK. So he has spoken about the career options and all the relevant knowledge you need. But first, he said that you have to really do your homework, dig deeper, get information, so that you can benefit from the speakers who are going to speaking. So just let's prepare for next week. Next week, we're going to be having different speakers who are going to be speaking through this forum. So I'm really, really excited. It's a journey on its own. It may look like starting small, but be sure that it's going to grow as the day go by. And I want to just close it there, and I want to wish you a good night to each and everyone.